I'm 2,000 feet in the air right now. Sandals on, strapped into the seat, fireworks exploding underneath my plane like the world is celebrating in slow motion. But this isn't a vacation. I'm here because my friend holds the keys to the most restricted tower in the city. After 7 years apart, she's taking me behind the glass where ordinary people aren't always allowed to go. They say you're, well, at least my grandma says, lucky if you find one friend in a lifetime. I found mine 12 years ago on the beach in Alabama. I came for something rare, for a reunion, 7 years in the making. Because it was the 4th of July weekend. You touch down in Punta Gorda, you don't walk through a jet bridge. You disboard straight onto the tarmac, waiting for me in the same car she had the last time I saw her, 7 years ago. And the car is still around. At this point, it's basically competing with me for who's been in her life longer. 12 years since we met. 7 years we last stood in the same place, and it felt like no time had passed at all. That's how you know it's real. When the gap disappears, the second you're back in the same room. Took me straight to the base. Private jets lifting off, helicopters slicing through the air, and her directing all of it. Watching her at work was like watching someone speak a language I didn't even know I needed to hear. Wind patterns, aerodynamic charts, timing, down to the second. It's math, instinct, and trust all happening in real time. I couldn't do it. Like, genuinely, I don't think I could actually do this job. But watching her do it, one of the coldest things I've ever seen in my entire life. At one point, she was doing the full air traffic controller thing, talking into the headset, numbers, coordinates flying out of her mouth. And I just stood there like, what is she even saying? I don't understand. Do they know what she's saying? It was like listening to a whole nother language, and I'm pretty good with languages, but she was the one fluent at this. Walking out onto the catwalk, wind hitting our faces immediately, planes lined up below like soldiers waiting for orders. This is the moment I kept coming back to, not because of the views, though the views were incredible, but because of what it represented. She earned this. She fought for this. And standing next to her up here, I felt proud in a way that's hard to explain unless you watch someone you love build something real from scratch. She set it up where I would be able to have a private tour of the whole base. Genuinely one of the coolest guys we met that whole trip. He let us cross in the front of the planes before they took off. We were a far enough distance, so it wasn't a safety hazard, but we did get to do that, which was like totally cool. And I've never done that before. It was a strange mix of being terrified and also being thrilled at the same time. I was extremely nervous and my heart was racing a little bit. But this trip was already rewriting itself into something I wasn't expecting. Here's the question for you. How many people do you know who have a job like this? Comment below if you're someone who's obsessed with airplanes, because I officially am now. We got to watch student pilots training, actually learning to fly step by step. I learned about pilot clubs too, where people literally share planes, like a timeshare, but for aircrafts. I had no idea that existed. Naturally, we took a break for snacks, and they had my favorite Yorkshire patties and my new favorite.
So what's over here?
The lemonade push
This
box.
is 2025, but is this a?
Yeah, we have to get the 26 chart up here soon.
Are these like little islands over here, or?
No, that's just a zoomed in on the more like congested airspaces.
Okay.
More zoomed in. You kind of tell this is Miami, I think, here, and
Oh,
Tampa.
okay, yeah, I can see. Yeah.
Because if you're looking at it from over here, it's kind of tough to see all those.
Right. That's
You
awesome.
kind of need a more zoomed in one. Yeah, absolutely.
10 out of 10. Highly recommend. This small town airfield treats just hit different when you're mid-adventure. We sat in the area where people wait before they take off, and I just kind of soaked it all up like, oh, this is amazing. It reminded me of my private flight from San Pedro back to Belize City in my Belize vlog, which you can watch here. The fun and games were about to end because it was time to get serious. My delusional dreams were about to get tested. Then it was time for the grand finale, the 4th of July. I'd said it out loud earlier in the trip, half joking, half dead serious. I want to see the fireworks from the sky. I'm a big time dreamer like that. So we met up with the rest of the team back at the air traffic control facility because we were having a party. And we had some incredible homemade ice cream. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend back at the air traffic facility. And somehow, somewhere, we secured a pilot willing to actually take us up. The party was great, but the pilot gave us that signal signal. It was time to go. It was time to find out if my delusional dream of flying through fireworks actually worked. Headset on so I could actually hear what was happening. Sandals on because I had to look cute and because it's just who I am at this point. We were dumb excited, the kind of excited where you can't stop laughing for no reason. And somewhere in the middle of all that adrenaline, I remembered something worth saying out. Dream big because you genuinely never know what's going to happen. And if you're like my friend, you know your dreams will happen regardless. Then we were ready, taking off. I was nervous, genuinely nervous, but it was a good kind that means you're about to do something you'll remember for the rest of your life. All 4 of us strapped in, fireworks blasting around us. Usually fireworks last an hour or 2. We had timed it perfectly. And then there it was. As we reached the high skies and we soared above Naples, you could see fireworks everywhere. The adrenaline was rushing. You're above the sky. You're above the world. Fireworks going off across multiple cities at once. You could see the lights stretching out for miles, colors blooming under us. The earth itself was celebrating. Being in a private piloted plane overlooking everyone watching from the ground, I didn't even know this was a dream I had until it actually was happening. Beautiful. The colors, the camaraderie, all of it. 10 out of 10, highly recommend. And I'll leave this one for you to debate in the comments. Do you think the view is actually better from the sky? I'll let you think about that. Up there, I reflected on how important it is to make memories, how important it is to actually cherish the moments while you're in them, especially with people you care about, instead of just watching it happen to you. 4th of July mattered to me because it represented change, getting out of your comfort zone, trusting that sometimes the universe puts you exactly where you're supposed to be, with who you're supposed to be, even when you don't ask for it directly. Of course, planes and traveling give you the good and they give you a bad. So they put me to work. This was my first time ever pushing a plane into a hangar. And then naturally I had to clean it. Like I've never cleaned bugs off a plane, so I can now add that to my resume. My life is genuinely so weird sometimes, and I mean that as a compliment. We went out for a bit of Naples nightlife, which was very questionable. Like honestly, there was like only 3 bars that were open, and yeah. We had a great time hanging out and just enjoying ourselves. But then the next day hit and it was time for me to board my plane back home on Allegiant. I tried to sleep most of the way, but it was a very turbulent flight. But 10 out of 10, love having a direct flight. Meanwhile, she goes back to work telling pilots exactly when, how, and where to land. Just another Tuesday for the Hammer Queen. I've been a lot of places, but I realized you're lucky if you have even 2 genuine friends in this life. This trip was never really about the fireworks or the tower or the beach. It was about visiting one of mine. This trip was a celebration of Black excellence in sports, aviation, friendship, and in an adventure. 12 years since we've met, 7 years since we last seen each other, and it still feels like no time had passed at all. Whenever Miss HQ calls, if I can catch a flight, I'm going to be there. If you like this content, don't forget to watch one of my other videos of adventures around the world. I promise you'll like it, and thank you to all our new subscribers coming and supporting. If you want a full guide of how I break down my trips on a budget, go ahead and get my free link in the description. And until next time, bye! You guys are amazing.